desk. Now, Kenya appears to be under siege from its neighbors after 22 Kenyan fishermen were arrested in Uganda barely a week after Tanzanian authorities burned to death more than 6,000 Kenyan chicken, claiming they could spread bird flu. And now, opposition legislators have expressed outrage, even as Tanzanian President John Pombe Magufuli banned grazing of Kenyan cattle in Tanzania. And the information that we now have is that 7 of the 22 fishermen detained by Uganda have been released, with 9 others expected home today.
The ownership of the 2,000 square meters Migingo Island has over the years been at the center of a protracted territorial dispute between Kenya and her neighbor Uganda. But the two countries could be headed for another round of a fierce diplomatic standoff after Ugandan authorities reportedly arrested and locked up 22 Kenyan fishermen on claims of trespassing into Ugandan waters. And now Kenyan opposition legislators have come out fuming.
Several of our islands have become territories of Uganda. One of which is in my constituency, Remba Island. Most people only know of Migingo Island, but our islands are consistently under attack from Ugandan forces.
We are slaves in our own country. The people of Uganda, the Uganda security comes not once, not twice, many times past the boundary of Kenya and Uganda, right inside Kenya, and terrorize, even at times take money from the fishermen from the Kenyan side.
Like in my constituency, every morning we have 2 flags of 2 different nations being raised in my constituency every morning. The Ugandan flag is in my constituency, the Kenyan flag is in my constituency. And we have a president in this country and is quiet about it.
But in an attempt to deflect blame from President Uhuru Kenyatta's government, Inspector General of Police Joseph Boynet said it is yet to be confirmed if indeed the Kenyan fishermen flouted Ugandan law to warrant their arrest.
And we went to Migingo and we told our compatriots, Kenyans living on that island, including Ugandans living there, that they must all live in accordance with the law. So anybody going on either side, or whether on our side or on the Ugandan side, and breaking the law, must be prepared to face the consequences.
But more trouble is brewing for Kenya from her neighbor in the south, where Tanzanian President John Pombe Magufuli has banned Kenyan cattle from grazing within the Tanzanian territory. This despite the shared cultural heritage of the Maasai community, who have intermarried across the two countries, and with their herders occasionally crisscrossing the two borders. Magufuli's ban coming only a week after Tanzanian authorities burnt more than 6,000 Kenyan chicken alive on suspicion of alleged likely spread of bird flu. Troubling developments that have now caught the eye of Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohamed.
It's true that our colleague from the East African community, who was in Arusha for a meeting, sent a note of protest, and it was something that we agreed needed to be done to show our concern.
We should not be treated as refugees in this country. We are taxpayers, and that is why you see Kenyans are now debating even seceding. Because when you have a system, a government that does not regard you, that does not treat you as if you belong to this country, then the next question you ask, then why do I continue to pay taxes in this country?
And as we speak now, we are therefore under a direct mode, meaning we can take what we call in our language oporo and go to a public place and shout, please come to the market. We make decisions and move on. Because you cannot have a government that the only time they produce the security is when they are coming to kill our people.
You know, like we say, governments come and go. But the people of our two nations will always be there. And two wrongs don't make a right. They don't.
These events happening at a time when Kenya is locked in a fierce internal dispute over the outcome of the October 26th repeat presidential poll, with the Kenyan Supreme Court due to hear a petition challenging President Uhuru Kenyatta's re-election. As anxiety looms over the political standoff between NASA and Jubilee locally, it appears the country is under siege from its neighbors, a standoff that might just need diplomatic intervention. Chris Dairo, KTN News in Nairobi.